The fallout from Ferguson is extending well beyond its borders. After armored personnel carriers rolled through the streets of Ferguson, Missouri in August, critics say the militarization of local police escalated the tension and the violence after the shooting of Michael Brown. Luckily, no one was injured, including the woman who lives in this house, but the tree does remain in the house with a tarp over it. Machinery remains outside of the house, and they say the tree will be removed from the house on Friday. Now, there are mixed opinions here in Manchester, with some people saying that the company has a right to its own religious beliefs, while others say that the employees should be able to decide whether they get birth control or not. A new poll in India shows that 90% of voters see the combating violence against women as a priority, second only to corruption. Elected officials are looking to enact the Women's Reservation Bill, which would allocate a third of seats in the parliament and state legislature for women. He's being called the Tickler. He's a man who's been breaking into the Boston College students' apartments here in this Brighton neighborhood, and they're saying that all he is doing is going into their apartment and tickling their feet. According to two senior U.S. officials, an announcement of a new Secretary of Defense will almost certainly come this week, possibly as early as Wednesday. Despite speculation, sources say the nominee will not be Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson, a former chief counsel to the Pentagon. We are now joined by Dr. Donald Berwick, who is a Democratic candidate for governor. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Now, parents are angry that they were not notified about the incident that occurred here at Stratton Elementary School until 2 days after it happened. Now, this appears to be a tragic accident. The boy remains in the hospital, but the family's pastor says that he is awake and talking. After continued pressure from the NHTSA, Graco eventually recalled over 6 million defective car seats earlier this year, the largest child seat recall in U.S. history. Robert Goodwin raps into the name Flipside in this YouTube video. Now he's banned from his son's elementary school after he brought out his gun license during a dispute with the principal.
I don't think that to settle any talking dispute, to present or even speak of owning firearms is appropriate in any circumstance.
Parents of kids who go to this Arlington school attended a meeting this afternoon to discuss the incident.
I think there's a lot of unknown and a lot of overreaction. I have a feeling that there's a misunderstanding.
Parents are angry that they were not notified about the incident that occurred here at Stratton Elementary School until 2 days after it happened.
I think it should have been much more prompt. I don't think I should have found out from an email chain from other parents.
Goodwin refused to talk to 7 News on camera, but said in a statement, "The principal lied that I threatened him and lied that I made a reference to owning or having access to guns."
In this day and age, you can't mess around.
Goodwin has not been charged with the crime, but police did suspend his license and confiscated his hunting rifle. In Arlington, I'm Logan Leavitt for 7 News. Marathon Monday is here.
It's just magic when I come here. It's just fantastic, and that's why I come back every year.
Spectators and runners alike are lining the blue and yellow-filled streets.
I've never seen a crowd this big.
You can just see from the turnout today how important these kinds of things are to Boston.
1 year after the tragic events that put the city at a standstill, Bostonians are stronger than ever.
The crowds were just a little bit deeper than they normally were, a little bit more energetic than they normally were. You could feel a little more spirit out there. It was really good to see.
I knew it was going to be a little scary and a little weird, but I also knew that it was really important to come out and show support.
For one father, seeing his son run in the marathon is a moving experience.
As parents, we couldn't be any more glorified being associated with Joe and his training, his dedication, and commitment to running.
Over 31,000 people crossed the finish line on Boylston Street. Runner Chris Smoko was one of them.
I'm a Yankees fan by trade, so it's tough seeing all these Red Sox hats, but it's a great sense of community, and everyone's really rallying, and you don't get that a lot as runners. You're usually back seat to the other sports, so it's good to be front and center for once.
Regardless of whether you were a runner, a loved one, or simply just enjoying the day, one thing is clear: we are Boston strong. In Boston, I'm Logan Leavitt.